Whatever, we'll find out. Anyway, so welcome to the World of Dragons podcast, where 2.5 dragons get together to discover, review, and then discuss dragon-centric content. Usually books, movies, TV shows, video games, and the like. We got a bit of a special plan for the rest of this year, though, as the holidays have made life very crazy for some of our members, particularly with, work and then having to visit family and all that. To take things a bit easier, we're going to do just a few episodes that are just discussions. Yeah. This episode, we're just going to be talking about all our honorable mentions, basically.
Dragons that we individually, we've each picked our own little list, but dragons that we individually remember from things that we've consumed in media that definitely do not have enough to make an episode out of, or would be so obscure the episode would be completely alienating.
So, yes. Hello, I'm Ray, by the way. With me are Bantam and Dilettante.
Hi.
My pillow fort is extra fortified. It is cold as shit.
Holding back the enemies.
I'm trying.
Of the realm.
They're breaking the walls.
Well, me and my blanket kingdom are going to wage war.
Bitch, you will lose.
Anyway, so because of the interesting format, there's not really need for a spoiler section, so I don't get to play my fancy music. So here is your very light spoiler warning for a whole lot of things. We're not going to spoil any of the storyline or anything, but there might be a couple where technically the dragon comes in really, really close to the end. So I don't know.
Why'd you play the music right now?
Truly the greatest crime in an episode is Ray not getting to use his spoiler check music.
It'll be an even greater crime when I commission my own custom music for the show.
I gotta squeeze every drop of value out of this.
Mm-hmm. Before we get started on that, is there dragon news to go over real fast? Dragon announcements?
Yes, there are some bad dragon news.
Bad dragon.
Now I'm wondering if it's actually bad dragon.
It is not that dragon. No, unfortunately, Glide has been delayed.
Oh yeah, it got delayed to 2023.
F's in the
called
chat.
It.
But no, but
I mean,
but
big F, but called it.
I would rather they delay it than you see what happened with Pokemon. It's like games get rushed out, they're a travesty, and then people just don't care. So I hope that Glide gets all the time it needs. I have good dragon news, which is that today being Monday, the 28th, Dragonflight launches on World of Warcraft.
Yay!
Yay!
You wouldn't have cared a month ago.
And I would not have given a shit a month ago. Ray has bugged me for the past 2 years probably to get back into World of Warcraft with him way before we even found out about this, but because he wanted help mount farming and it'll be fun, we'll play this together, but I was ride or die Final Fantasy XIV. I knew that the reason why I always resisted getting into World of Warcraft was because I have a disgustingly unhealthy addiction to MMOs, and now I'm in it. And, we did it just for the prep for Dragonflight, and now I am addicted to another MMO. So, yeah. But Dragon...
You just have an addictive personality. It's no one's fault.
I do. To anything. Ray has already mentioned, I'll drown in a game for, weeks straight until I absolutely crush the game into dust. And then when I get all the achievements and I've beaten the game 100%, I uninstall it and I'm like, that game is done.
Hold on, my brain shut down. Wait, I was going to make a stupid joke all right, guys, if Bad Dragon is what it is, what would a theoretical good dragon company be?
What would they sell?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. What would they peddle?
Probably lotions and candles and decorations made out of dragon scales.
My partner here says they would sell sweets. Which I guess if you do lotions, candles, and sweets, all of that together, it's the romantic side of the endeavor. Anyway, Diletan,
Hi.
I just double checking you're not muted and didn't realize it because you were super quiet and didn't offer insight.
Yeah, because I was drawing a blank. I did not have anything to say.
Okay, see, that's why I said it was a stupid joke. All right, any other announcements to bring up?
Personal announcement, and it's going to shock you, Ray. I think I am more in favor of Pokemon than Digimon than I was before.
Wow, is it because of Koraidon?
No, not because of the new generation. I actually got back into the old cartoons, started watching the first season because I've been on a nostalgia binge, and then started playing Fire Red, and then I realized just how many more beasts there are in Pokemon than there are in Digimon, because Digimon has like scantily clad flowers and weird floating sentient gears and shit.
You know, it's funny.
Digimon tries to be as broad as possible with its types, I guess. Well, Pokemon they get some weird things like the floating keys, but they generally try to fill the niche of animals in this world. So a lot of them are going to be more bestial because of that.
That's why I'm kind of a bigger fan.
I used to be one of those people that was always like, goddamn kids these days and their weird Pokemon like a bag of trash and a chandelier, stupid. And then, because I can admit when I'm wrong. And someone was like, oh, like Generation 1 where you literally had a Pokeball and then an inverted Pokeball with an angry face.
And then a magnet.
And a magnet.
Pile of sludge.
And a pile of sludge. And I'm like, okay.
It was bad everywhere.
It was bad across the board.
There are always unique specimens, but for the most part, they're all great.
Can you imagine, off topic, can you just imagine a locksmith person living in the Pokemon universe? And that's all he's got is the floating keys.
Thing is, now that we have a floating key, I wonder if we're going to get a floating lock Pokemon eventually.
Make them breed. I'm just imagining like the cliche stupid stuff like professions that you have in real life, but in the Pokemon universe, like a garbage man who only has a Trubbish and a Muck, and it's like, garbage man wants to fight. You walk out of your house to go throw out the garbage and the truck pulls up and the garbage man jumps off the truck and he's like, you fight.
Well, heck, the trainers that usually have the Magnemites and the Voltorbs are the power plant workers.
That is true. I work at a power plant, so that limits my ability to catch Pokemon.
I think in the Pokemon world, every human is just magically in the profession of their dreams.
Well, I mean, no one hates their job in Pokemon. Anyway, all right.
It wasn't as off topic as you would think, because there are technically dragons in Pokemon.
Yeah.
We need to adjust. We need to address the injustice done to Charizard, though, not being a fucking dragon type.
Okay, typing just changes what he is weak to, and I don't think it has any bearing on what you would consider them. He's still a dragon. He's just not weak to the same things that dragon types weak. He's not going to get his butt kicked by a freaking cotton fairy.
Still.
Aren't dragons weak to fairy types, by the way?
Yeah, yes, that's exactly what I just referenced.
Oh, yeah, it's just more evidence of fairies, and because one of the dragons I'm going to bring up this episode, it absolutely angers me how everybody seems to fall back on the trope of fairies and dragons enemies, and it's like, why? Like,
why can't we just be friends?
It's not DM Gilmore's fault with his books, because this goes back even way further. Spoiler, well, that's not spoiler alert, but one of the subjects I'm going to be bringing up is the dragons from the Legend of Dragoon series. And there is a race of creatures called the Winglies, which are literally fairies, and they are sworn mortal enemies of the dragons. And it's like, why though? Why is everything like,
I would have to look into Terran mythology to figure out if there's a reason why, but just my best guess from just looking at it, I think it's just because dragons are usually very large, ferocious, angry creatures, usually. Or they're very proud and noble and majestic, whereas fairies are usually the tricksters, fun-loving, give no cares thing, so they would be naturally on the opposite end of the spectrum,
I guess.
But yeah, I guess on the topic of Dilettant's betrayal from Digimon to Pokemon, I have recently discovered there's a new Digimon card game, and I'm gonna try and get into it because card games are cool. And I'll let you all know how it goes.
Yeah, Ray. So Ray managed to slip me into fucking World of Warcraft, and now I'm hopelessly addicted. And last night we played Magic the Gathering, but specifically Commander decks based on Warhammer 40k, and I had a fucking ton of fun, and it's terrifying to me.
My claws are getting deeper into him.
It's that thing where a cat puts his paws on you and you try to move, and then the claws just sink in so you don't move, and you're like, okay.
But Bantam, Chaos, and Necrons.
Yeah, well, then fuck the Necrons, but yeah, I played as Chaos last night, and I managed to kill Ray, and it was great.
I guess we can get straight up into our little bullet list. We kind of made a little competition amongst ourselves, who could come up with the most honorable mentions, I guess. The most things that had a dragon, even however briefly, in it, just to see who has the most widespread knowledge or widespread experience, I guess. But yeah, Dilettante, do you want to go first?
Oh, well,
Since this is your Dilla special.
First, let's see how many each person has, because I
didn't count them.
I don't either. I'm just kind of going off my mind to see how many I can come up with at the end of the episode.
I have 5.
I got way more than that.
All right, then yeah, go ahead. Dilettante can start.
1 second. I'm counting them. I have 55 question mark.
What? I mean, like, okay, I thought we were gonna talk about them.
Like, yeah, we're gonna be here for hours.
Some of these are going to be just like a like 2 cents mention and then move on.
Okay.
They are that small.
And
the question marks because some of them are surprisingly big and they could be big enough that we could do a whole episode on them, so they may not count as honorable mentions, and that's why they're question marked.
Okay, because I was under the impression that we're gonna like. I guess we should have discussed how many we're gonna bring, because I actually
as many as you could think of.
Because I specifically thought of ones that I didn't think either of you guys would remember or know. Except one of them is kind of a gimme for Ray. Daragaz the Igniter.
Daragaz sounds like a magic card, but the Igniter does not sound like the title of the card that I have.
Yeah, this is what he looks like.
Oh, that's his old version. That'd be why. Okay.
And yeah, I am digging the
I know what you're digging.
Well, yeah, but that's the obvious.
The thing is, old magic art like that had surprisingly detailed muscle shading for some reason. Like, just look at the muscles in his little arms and his legs. It's like, that's like hyper detail on the muscles.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like as an example, one of my question marks on my list, because it's arguably big, I put Dragon Tales on here. Which, I mean, like, it's a lot of dragons, but I don't know if we'll do an episode on it per se, because the age group for it.
Hey,
don't know if we need to do an episode on 5-year-old's TV show.
It does fit our podcast rules, so why not?
It does technically.
Yeah.
I guess if we episoded it.
That's a
for
word.
a couple of years. I have Bushisms every now and then.
They misunderestimated me.
Yep. All right, so Dilettante, do you want to go first?
Sure. We'll each do one at a time.
Until I inevitably run out really quick and then sit here in silence like a fucking idiot.
Well, you can give your opinions on stuff. It's like, oh, I remember that.
Mine are going to be chunky though.
Yeah.
Because there's there's one. Never mind. Go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead, Dilettante.
Well, what I'm starting off with, both of you don't know, none of you will know this, probably. Maybe some of our audience will. But I am going to copy this image and put it in the audience stand, which you could be a part of for $5 a month. Got to get that shill out.
Yeah. At least 3 times an episode.
Hell yeah. This is Predaking from Transformers Prime Season 3.
Oh, yeah, I know him.
Oh, you do?
I'm just kidding. No.
Oh.
It actually reminds me a little bit of Beast Wars.
The name of the season was called Beast Hunters. Apparently, I don't know if their funding ran out, because they were going to do this whole thing where pretty much every mythical creature in human folklore was going to be a type of transformer, like griffins.
Oh, there's fantasy transformers.
Yeah, there were hydras, dragons, griffins. They had them all in this
See, I would have watched that because I watched Beast Wars when I was like a wee little hatchling.
Oh yeah, no, me too. Beast Wars was fucking great.
It was, and that was basically animal Transformers.
Hell yeah.
The Decepticons were dinosaurs, and the Autobots were normal animals.
Mammals,
so,
I think.
Yeah. Was it all mammals?
I know. Prime.
There were no birds or reptiles.
Hashtag not all mammals.
I don't remember exactly. Like I know, like one of them was a cheetah, but I know Optimus Prime was a gorilla, and
Silverback.
Yeah, the Megatron there was a purple T-Rex.
Yep.
Who had a giant T-Rex head for an arm. Just cool as shit.
Yep, that's burned into my memory forever.
Yeah.
Wait, no, yeah, because one of them was a spider. Wasn't one of the Decepticons a spider?
That was Arachnid, who also makes an appearance in Transformers Prime.
Well, the point is, if they were a spider, then it wasn't.
It wasn't all.
It wasn't dinosaurs versus mammals.
Yeah, it was the
good animals versus creepy.
I'm pretty
animals.
sure it was mammals versus everything else. Like because there was the cheetah, the rat, the gorilla, and there was like a couple other mammals or whatever. I think there was a wolf one, but yeah, it was like the Decepticons were dinosaurs and bugs and other shit.
Well, actually, according to the lore, the Dinobots are on the Autobots side, except for during the Beast Wars, and the Insecticons helped the Decepticons. Because Khan, yeah. I watched a lot of Transformers. Prime was one of my favorites.
Transformers lore is weird. Point being,
he is.
That would have been that fantasy version would have been good. I would have watched that. It's worth noting that one of the movies, probably movie number 5 from Michael Bay, has a dragon in it that I haven't seen, but big metal dragon.
I stay with the Michael Bay movies.
I should watch it just for the heck of it, just for the eye candy, but it's gonna be terrible.
Yeah. Further along in Transformers Prime, they do a movie special that involves 2 more Predacons. I think one of them is a griffin, and there's another smaller lizard, and Predaking just beats the shit out of him, because he's the only one that can actually transform, because he evolved. Also, worth noting, Predaking has the chattest chin in his transformed form I've ever seen on any Transformer, ever.
It does go up pretty far.
It goes out like 3 feet. It's huge.
All right. Point for Dilettante, I did not put Transformers on my list at all, even the movie that I just mentioned.
Yeah, surprise all y'all.
I had forgotten about it.
Oh, yeah, no, he is actually throughout all of Season 3. We could probably cover it. Okay, fine.
No. I was going to say no point system, because at the maximum I could only have 5 points.
The points would be for uniqueness.
If we say something that you have remembered and or have seen, like you watched it, you just put on your list, then you can negate the point.
Oh, okay.
The Dilettante gets the point because he is the only one out of the 3 of us who has seen this Predaking cartoon, whatever the fuck.
Okay.
All right. My first one's a really easy one. I kind of started with the obvious ones. The entire Dark Souls series.
Of course.
First of all, just the fact that Dark Souls does not have a whole lot of in-your-face lore. You have to really do some digging for it. And then even then, any character in there has two sentences of lore followed by, or did they? Because it's supposed to be as open-ended as possible. Means we can't really do an episode on Calamite or Dark Eater Midir or whatever. Because it'd be half an hour for all of them together. Because we'd be playing with scraps.
Yeah. Because I believe you find out most about the dragons through their weapons.
Yeah, because they don't talk. They've all, if they used to, Placidia X, they've gone mad by this point, so they can't anymore. And so it would just be the descriptions on any items related to them.
Yeah.
So each dragon would have 8 senses. I think.
I think there's probably the most lore you're ever going to get out of the first Dark Souls is actually going to be on Seath, because Seath is kind of like the Moonlight Greatsword for Dark Souls. He has had a place in their origins of Kingsfield. But I think there are other items like their rings and random garbage you can pick up that reference Seath. But for things like what's that giant purple ugly gross dragon from the first game? You cut off its tail and you get a sword.
No, he's just called the Gaping Maw
Dragon. And it's that thing, you cut off its tail, you get a sword. You cut off the other thing's tail, you get a sword. And those are the only items that reference them. So
Yeah, it's just while dragons are very prominent, they're very, very minor characters. They are very good eye candy, though.
They are very good. Well,
They're very weird.
the gaping maw dragon is not really.
Here's hoping the DLC. We don't get expansions anymore. We only get DLC now. Here's hoping the DLC for Elden Ring adds the Dragon Covenant, so you can turn into a little dragon. But yeah, no points for anyone for that because Bent and I both know about Dark Souls.
He forced me through all the Dark Souls, yeah.
I forced you through the first 10% of the first one. The rest of them you were into.
No, the thing was so I had played the first Dark Souls for like a half an hour. I had a friend who, if I haven't mentioned, and don't worry, Ray, I'm not going to take forever. I had a friend who convinced me to play Dark Souls before I ever met Ray. He thought it would be hilarious if he told me to take the useless item that does nothing, told me to start as Wretched because it was the best class, and then basically
an absolute troll.
And then told me that I have to beat the Asylum Demon in the very first game before I could advance. And so me with a club or the broken little sword, whatever, he made it so that I would hate the game, as a joke. And Ray was the one who got me back into it. But when Dark Souls 2 had come out, I did buy and play Dark Souls 2 for a little while. But I kind of gave up on that one too. So Ray was the one who kind of forced me through all the Dark Souls by actually being a good person and helping me.
I'm a good person. Bantam, do you want to do your first one on your list, or do you want me and Dilla tend to ping pong a bit before you chime in, since you only have 5?
No, I'll take my first one.
Okay. So
the first one I have, his name is Tweak. He is a character from Fur Fighters. So he is a drag. So one thing about Fur Fighters, it is an arcade shooter, but with a story.
I'm looking at a screenshot. It reminds me something out of Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah. So Tweak can only say his name. All the other Fur Fighters can speak. Tweak just basically says his own name in response to everything. He is Welsh, and he's only 0.002 years old. That's according to the wiki. He is, because he in the story of the game. So Fur Fighters Vigo's Revenge is the sequel to Fur Fighters, and he was literally just hatched. And what happened is Vigo, the bad guy, stole all of his mother's eggs, and all of his dragons are scattered throughout the game as collectibles. Tweak is the oldest of all of his siblings by mere seconds, and therefore he joins the Fur Fighters to rescue his siblings. So the biography is that he's less than a day old, the last of his mother's eggs to hatch. He only spent a few minutes with her and his siblings before they were stolen. He is the largest and slowest of his brothers and sisters, and knows he must fight to get them back. Clumsy and nervous, he finds the new world scary and fascinating. Luckily, he can rely on his instinctive knowledge of firearms and other Fur Fighters to look out for him. But yeah, I liked the...
Was this from the era of the animal mascot games, like Sly Cooper?
Kind of.
Gex the Gecko, all of that?
Yeah, it was...
Ty the Tasmanian Tiger?
Yeah, the main characters in Fur Fighters, there was a French cat, there was a...
No, I mean, is that when the game came out?
It came out...
This is way before the mascot era.
This game came out in 2000.
I mean, it looks like Spyro 1.
So it's a 22-year-old game.
Yeah. Okay. PlayStation 1 probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that.
No,
era,
well, no.
then.
This was a PS2 game.
Oh yeah. So definitely in the middle of that era.
Yeah. But I
think the first Sly Cooper was PS2.
I always the thing is that each of the main characters in the game had a unique power to access certain areas in every level, but I never ever bothered with any of that because I only ever played as Tweak. Mostly because I just loved the little voice line that he had where he'd be like, Tweak. And I loved the design of him where he's got like the paddles on his ears and the paddles for wings. But yeah.
The fact that he just has a gun is just the most absurd thing ever.
Well, they all have guns.
But it's just like, What a day we used to live in when you could give video game characters guns.
Yeah, straight up realistic guns and just shooting stuff, yeah. And watching them fall over and then die.
I can feel myself aging, just going like, oh, I miss the old days. Dilettante, your next one.
Wait, do I get a point?
Yes, you get a point.
My next one, it's going to be Blast from the Past, The Dragon from Page Master.
That's on my list. You get no points.
Fuck you. Listen, this one is very special to my heart because this is actually the first proper dragon I've seen, like the first giant menacing one. I have lived off of dragon tales and shit when I was growing up, and then I think it was kindergarten. I was in a music class, and they put on the movie Page Master. It was the second day, and we finally got to the scene. I was like, "Holy shit, that looks cool!"
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And thus began the spiral.
It's a moment of Dilettante watching something like, I hope this doesn't awaken anything in me. But yeah, Page Master Dragon doesn't show up until 95% of the way through the movie.
Pretty much towards the very end.
So it's like soft spoiler, maybe?
I mean, it's not really, because...
It doesn't spoil anything, but I mean, if you're gonna sit there and watch the cartoon and be like, where's the dragon?
Yeah, the dragon's at the very tail end.
But I mean, just knowing the dragon exists and you haven't seen it yet means, of course, the kid gets through this ordeal. He's got to go find the dragon that I know about.
Yeah. Dragon eats the kid. The kid opens up Jack and the Beanstalk, and he climbs up he rides the beanstalk out of the dragon for some reason, and then manages to escape. It was very brief, but the design was really cool.
Page Master was such a good cartoon movie, whatever you want to call it.
It was a hybrid. Yeah, no, it was my childhood.
Look to the books, Dilettante.
Ugh.
There was a point-and-click adventure game for the really old PC game for Page Master that I could never beat. I'm talking it came out in 96. It was super old. I'll just see if I can find it and see if I can beat it now. So whatever. Anyway, my turn. I acknowledge there'll be no points for this. Like I said, I started very broad. The random one-off dragon from Mario Odyssey.
Of course.
And it's just so randomly just in there. Why is Dark Eater Medea suddenly in a Mario game? And why is he so high detailed?
Well,
just like the T-Rex.
The T-Rex was fitting, okay? We gotta let the T-Rex be.
It wasn't fitting. It was so random.
Nothing was... Not even Mario fit, because he went to the human world, and there was just Mario. It's what is Mario? He's not human.
He's apparently only knee height.
No, Mario is his own creature.
Mario is a Mario. I'm looking forward to the movie coming out soon. I want to see what they're going to do to Chris Pratt.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
I fully subscribe to the theory, and I hope that's what they do, that he arrives, he's a normal person, falls into a pipe while plumbing, and ends up in the Mushroom Kingdom, and over the course of the movie starts changing to be more Mario. It's going to change his voice halfway through or something.
Yeah, basically the rumors are that it's going to be an isekai of a sort.
Yeah, that's the only way I'll excuse them for not having him do the "Let's go" in the trailer.
What does he actually say? I forget. It's "Let's go" or something like that.
It's it was something complete. Yeah, here we go or whatever. It was completely normal.
Go. That's what it was. Here we go.
That's what it was.
And it's oh,
it's
look what they've done to my boy.
Anyway, Bantam, your next one.
All right. So my next one is Ryoho the Dragon from Bloody Roar 4.
Sadly, you get no point because you made me play that game.
Yeah, well, you never saw him though. So all right, everybody here has been exposed to or played a fighting game of some kind in their life. And
even if only Street Fighter or Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah. So Bloody Roar 4 was one of my favorite fighting games of all time because all the characters could turn into animals, anthropomorphic animals. There was blood, even if the blood was just sprays of red, not vividly dripping or anything. But the point being is that there was actually blood because people are beating the shit out of each other with claws and beaks and whatever. So Bloody Roar 4, there was a character. He's a bald guy who has this little girl in a white kimono with him. And when he transformed, the little girl turned into a kitsune fox. And, whereas everyone else's transformation was really awe-inspiring and cool, his was like just really stupid. Well, when you play the arcade game, like a typical quote unquote campaign, you didn't unlock anything. And the final boss was Ryoho and Mana, which is the little girl. It wasn't until you do career mode and actually grind out these DNA strands. Every time you fought someone, you got DNA as a currency. And if you moved your way down through this ridiculously huge tree, you could unlock Ryoho's true power. And the thing is that little girl is supposed to be sealing him, because what he actually is a dragon. And it's one of those fighting game unfair bullshit type of characters where he is vastly bigger than anybody else in the game. To the point where I don't even think he could fully turn around, and he would, if you managed to get over him, then he would just use his tail for the rest of the fight. But he was incredibly awesome. And he had a fire breath attack where if you stood in front of it, it was over. So you had to basically jump over it or like perfect block it. It was ridiculous. It was like the most unfair fight ever, but it was like, if you got this far, you've played the game enough that you should know how to do it. But yeah.
I'll give you half a point, because I wouldn't know about it if you didn't make me play it, and you're right, I never saw that character because we didn't have any of the stuff unlocked.
Yeah,
so I'll give you half a point.
I thought that I had...
I knew he exists, but I've never seen him, and I wouldn't have without you, so I'll give you half a point.
All right, cool. I get half a point. The other thing that... This is unrelated to the whatever, so you can cut this, but I just wanted to show everyone why I really loved Bloody Roar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ragey the Crow.
The best thing about that game is he made me play it. He beat me, and I'm like, hold on, let me look at the combo list.
Okay, so
2 minutes later, he never won again.
So literally, I will admit, I wanted to.
He's a button masher.
I wanted to play against Ray because I was a button masher and I loved the game, and I knew I'd kick his ass. And 3 rounds, I fucking bodied him because I used Ragey, and Ragey's a juggler. And uses pretty much his talents for everything. And then Ray goes, hold on, hit start, goes to the command list, and I leave the room for a few minutes to get something.
Bantam had his villain moment of, ha, you think that'll help you?
Yeah, and I was like, there's no way you can, because the thing with people who study moves is that they usually rely on the other person doing oh, he's doing this move, and it's like, I'm a button masher, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But yeah, he studied the combo list, and I never won a round again.
And we never played again.
Well, I mean, I have it on emulator and I have it on physical disc, but I just don't feel like breaking up the PS3.
Mm-hmm. All right, Dilatan, your next one.
None of you know this unless you play Doom Eternal. Who here has played Doom Eternal?
I have.
What? Did you play the expansion?
No.
Okay, well, in the expansion, Doom Eternal gets a type of dragon called the Witherin. It is native to Argentinor, the land of the Sentinels, and the Doom Slayer gets his own little white dragon. Well, let's see if I can post a screenshot. Unfortunately, I have not actually played the Doom Eternal expansion.
Well,
see, I'm kind of weird.
That is
disgusting.
So out of place for Doom.
I mean, it looks more like a demon than a dragon. So
I mean, it's Doom. Well, of course, it's going to be demon-like.
Yeah.
But yeah, he exists.
He exists.
Doom Eternal has friendly demon dragons. It also help you. It'll fly. It mostly will just play in a cutscene. It'll fly into a location, and then during one of the final battles, it'll fly around and shoot giant demon robots with fire. But that's about all it does. It exists.
It exists for 10 seconds.
Well, it depends. It is Schrodinger's dragon. It exists for however long you stare at that background, so you control its life.
Look away, he ceases to be. All right. My next list, again, a very, very broad topic. Magic the Gathering there are tons of dragons in Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a big enough story surrounding Nicol Bolas, my favorite, that we probably could do an episode on it theoretically, but that story and lore is going to be a bitch to get, because I think every single book follows the goddamn human planeswalkers. And you just kind of get Nicol Bolas like through hearsay and background stuff and whatever. If anybody knows of a Magic the Gathering book that actually focuses solely on dragons, let me know. I would be happy to have it. But I'm pretty sure it all follows just like a freaking Nisa or Leandra, the fucking white planeswalker that got killed later. It's not Garrett, but it's something like that. Gideon probably follows Gideon and Jace a lot too.
Yeah, I've not been an avid Magic follower. I mean, I will admit that I used to collect cards only because I really like the artwork on them. But with everything that Ray has told me about the lore of Magic, I'm like increasingly angry at whatever company owns Magic and what they've done, because it really does honestly feel like fuck anything that isn't human. We're going to make the humans the super awesome good guys who are still around, and everybody who is non-human can go fuck themselves.
Yep, because they got rid of Nicol and Ugin, the two dragon planeswalkers. We haven't seen Anjath in ages, so I'm pretty sure he might be dead. They just completed at Johnny, so he's probably basically dead.
And apparently...
So we're left with just humans and human
Apparently wasn't there also, you said a Minotaur planeswalker? And
yeah, that's Anjath.
Ooh.
Yeah, when I said that, I was like, oh, Dilettante will love that. And he's like, yeah, but he's...
Yeah, haven't seen him since Ixalan, so I don't know if he's dead or he just had to stay there and is like, I'm going to just be pirate now. But either way, he's written out of the story, it seems like. Now it's all just freaking Teferi and Karn, and I freaking hate those guys. But yeah. If you're the kind of person kind of like me, to where you're only interested in the game if you get to play something fancy like dragons or bird people or beastkin or whatever, Magic is a good card game because it is actually completely viable to just build a 100% dragon deck. It is well within the realm of possibility, whereas in other games it is usually a stretch and you'll never be competitive if you try that because there's usually not enough cards for it. No, go for it. Dragon Tribal all the way. Bantam.
Well, you know what, seeing as you just mentioned Magic, I was going to bring up Daragaz. So if this...
I mean, you already posted a picture of him.
So I had already posted a picture of him. I happened to notice him when I was looking up Magic Dragons because I was like, holy shit, his wings are attached to his head. I think that's super cool. But I don't imagine how that could be comfortable flying. So the little information thing for him that I have here says he is a dragon wrongly imprisoned for crimes he did not commit. He is accused of a massacre at a Benalish outpost and imprisoned in his own lair. He originally sought to bring peace between Ankum and Denise, but it seems his efforts were futile. His new goal becomes to save Sheev from Lord Gavin Denise's plans to conquer it. He in turn becomes an ally after he's freed. His lore...
Yeah, so I was going to chime in, there's a lot of lore behind some of these characters in Magic the Gathering, but again, I don't know the best way to, go about finding it. Like, the story with Daragaz on Dominaria, I don't know how central he is to it, if there would be some Dominaria books. Niv Mizzet is a really, really big, important dragon in Ravnica, but I don't know how often he pops up in any of the Ravnica books. Nicol Bolas was the main villain of the arc that only ended a couple years ago. But again, I don't know how much screen time he gets in any of the books that talk about him. So it's there's a lot of story to some of these characters. A lot. They write so much story for some of these cards, but I don't know how accessible it is.
Well, it says he's also an NPC in the game Magic Legends.
Yeah, that's the MMO I told you that they're making.
Oh, wait, they are making?
Are making. I was in the alpha at one point.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it says that it says he has a couple. He's an NPC in Magic Legends. He can interact with the player and provide information as well as mission spells or equipment. It says he can be found in Sheev, Benalia Outpost, and it's like, what? And it looks like there's a 3D image for him, but everything's not working now, so I don't know.
Yeah, don't worry about
it. Copy and paste with hotkeys. You cannot right click.
No, it looked like a screenshot of his 3D model, but it's not letting me pull it up.
Oh well. All right. Dilettante?
This is going to surprise nobody. Good old Smaug.
Hey, he's on my list too.
Of course he's on your list.
He's a very amazing character, but he's in all of like 10% of the overall story. So
Exactly. And controversial opinion, possibly, or I might get a lot of hell yeah. I blanked on who wrote the fucking Hobbit. I'm going to get lynched.
Tolkien,
yes, that guy. Forgive me, internet.
Oh, no,
but,
absolutely not. You are not forgiven. I'm doomed.
So, the way Tolkien does dragons, Smaug, at least the movie, fantastic. 10 out of 10. But the ones that are as big as a goddamn mountain, 0 out of 10.
Ankh-Morpork.
No, it's awful, horrible, because for like the average man, he ain't gonna pay attention to what the fuck you're doing.
I haven't read the Silmarillion, so I don't know how big of a role Ankh-Morpork plays, but it depends on their role, and it depends on who they interact with. I have enjoyed very, very massive dragons when they only deal with other very, very massive things, like in a Dragon vs. Titan sort of way, or in a this dragon crafts the stars sort of way. That's fine. The problem is when you try to have the big-ass island-sized dragon interact with tiny little people who are small enough they can fit inside the dragon's blood vessels. I'm looking at you, dragon friend. Grumble, grumble, grumble.
Wait, dragon friend? I don't know about that.
Dragon Friend's the name of the book.
Yeah.
And it's actually not in that book. Dragon Friend is the first book. This big-ass dragon with the humans inside his blood vessels scene doesn't pop up until like book 4 or 5, and I can't remember what that book is called, so I'm just saying Dragon Friend because that's the first in the series.
Ah, yes. Good old Osmosis Jones crossover.
Dude, I can't even remember why they were in there.
But yeah, Smaug's personality, 10 out of 10.
I think
his size, 10 out of 10. The way he dies, fucking awful.
I will. If you have to kill a dragon, Smaug's death is actually pretty good.
Yeah, it kind of was. I was gonna say when I saw the Hobbit movies in theaters when they came out, and when they poured molten gold on Smaug, I was like, oh my, because I had never read the Hobbit books. The only knowledge I had of the Hobbit was the old fucking cartoon, like where they all looked like weird potato people. But
I mean, it's a good.
It is a good cartoon. But when they poured the molten gold on Smaug and he just kind of just laid there for a brief minute, and I was like, oh my god, is that how he dies? That's so cool. And then he just like bursts out and he's like glittery because he's covered in like, you know, just little rivulets of gold. And I was like, oh my god, he's fabulous. It's like, dude, they did you a favor. Like, take that and leave. Like, you look amazing.
Why would you leave out of your cave filled with gold?
Well, it's not his gold. He stole it.
That makes it his. By dragon law, that's his.
It reminds me of that joke where it's like you hire adventurers to put gold in your treasury. So like you literally reverse steal gold from someone, and you get them just over that threshold that attracts a dragon.
No idea what you're talking about, but okay.
It was just a character concept for an adventurer who, instead of stealing gold from the rich, gives more gold to the rich so that they reach a threshold where a dragon attacks them and takes all their money. That's it. That was...
Okay. All right, next on my list is Yu-Gi-Oh! More card games. Yay! And so Yu-Gi-Oh's got a lot of dragons with... Apparently there is a storyline attached to some of these, but I don't know where you get it from.
Probably get it from the Egyptian lore.
Well, I'm assuming the anime is a majority of it.
Maybe the anime is all the kids who play the card game. Like, I guess they could be like, I play a Galaxy Eyes Dragon who XYZ, and so maybe that's how you get the lore for Galaxy Eyes. But like, there's no books about the origins of the monsters, but apparently there's a story because I've been on forums where people talk about the story of the World Breaker Saga. I don't fucking know all the archetypes names, but whatever. There's tons of dragons in Yu-Gi-Oh! Sadly, I don't think you can build a pure dragon deck like you can in Magic, which is why I brought that up in the Magic bit. You can get pretty close. Like, I looked into building a Galaxy Eyes deck, and the dragons are the big guys in there, but you have to have some photon creatures, which are like space soldiers with guns and everything, to kind of get you there. And then if you try to build a Stardust deck, it requires you to have junk synchron cards, and it's like, ugh. So a pure dragon deck, I don't think you can get away with that in Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is very sad. I'm just going to post one picture. This is Saphira, Queen of the Dragons. I think she's a ritual monster card. Very pretty. But there are a lot of very, very fancy dragons that could just be your boss monster if you're okay including other things to help you get there.
I know nothing about Yu-Gi-Oh, so I can't contribute at all.
Do I get a point?
Yeah, you get a point. Just you get a point the moment you said Yu-Gi-Oh, and holy shit, that is the handsomest, gayest looking dragon I've ever seen in my life.
It's a 7 out of 10.
Oh, it is?
She's can be gay, don't get us canceled.
Well, I mean, like, how to say the sentence?
All right. You know what? That right.
If you're calling it gay because it's very feminine, but it happens to already be female, then it's not gay.
That's true. The looking at that card art, that is what I imagine to be the antithesis of bad dragon. That is good dragon.
Good dragon. I think she goes in a light sworn deck, but she'd be the only dragon in there. Everything else is like human clerics, priests, and paladins. So again, very impressive boss monsters that can destroy everything when they come onto the field, but you need their little cult package to help bring them out. So also, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a monster nowadays. I tried playing the card game and there's a learning curve on that.
Well, like,
yeah, you're 20 years behind.
Well, like,
Ray am.
showed me a video. He has this YouTuber that specializes in Magic, and apparently he sat down with some people who are really good at Yu-Gi-Oh! And they tried to explain the rules of Yu-Gi-Oh! To him. And I don't know the rules to either. I vaguely know the rules to Magic. I know them better now, but yeah, Magic is a kid's game compared to Yu-Gi-Oh!
Mm-hmm.
Yu-Gi-Oh! is needlessly obtuse and just really bad. Like,
the best part of that video was the answers to some of his questions. Like, so I can only play one monster a turn, and they're like, yeah, usually. Oh, sorry, read the card. This is what it does. Usually,
yeah.
So I can't attack with this the turn I do this.
Yeah,
whatever. Usually,
and it's like everything.
The answer to everything was usually, because everything has a way to break the rules in Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's like, here are the rules. Good luck. Whereas Magic is like, hey, here's the rules. Now you know how to play.
All right, Bantam, your next one.
So my next one was going to be Fin Fang Foom from Marvel. So he is technically a shape-shifting alien. His species is called a Makluan, but when he arrives on Earth, he takes the form of a Chinese dragon. And there were rumors that the next Iron Man movie was going to have him as a bad guy. They even teased it in Iron Man 3 when they showed a billboard in the background of one of the cities they were in. But I think they decided not to, because this was back in the ye olden times of comic book characters where they were just like obscenely racist. You know, like think like Aristocats with the Siamese cats levels of racist. Everything about Fin Fang Foom was just like, just haha China. So
I see.
I don't think that they're going to.
They could modernize it, I guess.
They probably could. But
no, it's too much work for them. They need to just take the script as it is.
But Fin Fang Foom,
fucking Marvel's getting so lazy.
He wasn't like the thing is that everything about him, he's got the.
Oh my god, that looks hideous.
They
right?
gave him a flat, somewhat human face, and that's unfortunate. Because
you know what he reminds me of?
What?
The grasshoppers from A Bug's Life.
Oh my god. You're
Doesn't
right.
he have the face?
You are completely right.
Yep. But yeah, his name roughly translated is, quote, "He whose limbs shatter mountains and whose back scrapes the sun."
I love names like that. Big ass long names like that, where it's like, it's not a name, it's more of a title. I love that shit. Whatever. I give you your point. Dilettante.
All right, this one probably isn't going to count, but I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to pitch it out. We'll see what happens. Kojira from Destroy All Humans 2. This is not technically a dragon, but it is technically a dragon considering the fact...
I was debating putting Godzilla because of Ghidorah on my list,
Exactly.
but he's technically not a dragon either.
He is a fire-breathing reptile. He may not have wings, but he does have, like, a majority of the qualifications to make it.
Thing is, I don't remember where I had this argument with. It may have been on the Wormworks subreddit, where people were like, why doesn't Ghidorah count as a dragon? Why is he... I don't remember what the argument was, but basically my argument was it comes down to them being previously defined as something else. Ghidorah has already been previously defined as a kaiju in his universe, therefore he's a kaiju, not a dragon. If he had not been, like, you go to some other universe that has a really big 3-headed lizard with wing arms, you would call that a dragon because he hasn't been defined as anything else. But unfortunately, in Godzilla's universe, they have already been defined as these ancient monsters from the before time or whatever.
You can define them as multiple things. Like, Godzilla is a radiation dragon. The thing is, dragon's very broad. Anything can be considered a dragon if it doesn't have a previous definition already. For example, I say this all the time, you take a wolf, give it horns, like antlers, and put a little scale patch on its snout and on its paws, and boom, it's a forest dragon. It doesn't take a lot to have things be considered a dragon suddenly. It's usually because dragon is just the catch-all for anything that does not have a previous identification of any kind. I guess. Truth be told, yeah.
Dragon has become synonymous with monster in that sense.
Yeah. But anyway, brief on Kojira. It was a Japanese girl that got abducted by the Soviet Union and got experimented with alien spores so much that she turned into a skyscraper-sized lizard that shoots radiation. Basically, gets all the points for Godzilla. Only difference is that it's more insectoid.
It's a Zerg Godzilla.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. So, yeah, Crypto fights him in his UFO, doesn't do anything, so he has to go on foot, and he fights alongside the Japanese military to take him down. Then after she's defeated, she reverts back to her human form, and it gives her some money for therapy. I fucking love Destroy Humans. The humor is fucking great.
I fucking hate that game.
I fucking love that game.
I'm gonna say something that's gonna upset Dilettante a little bit.
Yeah, Tom. Choose your words very carefully.
I loved the first game. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. The second game was way too over the top for me. It was like...
Makes it great.
It was tolerable in very small doses, but holy crap, the first game was really, really good, and then the second game was like Austin Powers levels of nonsense.
But that was the whole theme. The whole theme was spy Austin Powers shit.
I know, but like in the first game, he's killing people indiscriminately and not caring. But in the second game, he's like talking to people and dealing with people and like being more ridiculous.
Now, see, he still hates humans. So most of the side objectives is him screwing over their lives. And the only reason he likes to talk to some people is to just bang because he now has a dick.
That's so stupid.
That's Destroy Humans.
I played the second one with him and it was fun playing co-op, but then at the same time it's like the humor the thing that Ray hates, about Borderlands bosses or characters is like they have to say something funny and stupid every 2 or 3 seconds because they're afraid that they're going to lose your interest. It's like Crypto didn't talk nearly as much in the first one and the humor was what you made of it. Whereas in the second one, it was rammed down your throat like, no, this is funny. This is funny. Laugh.
It was funny, though.
No.
Yes.
All right. Moving on.
All right, fine.
I vote no point because once you post a picture that does not look like a dragon to me, but I'll leave it to Bantam to give you a point.
I'll give him a point.
Yay!
I'll give him a point just because I don't want to make him sad after I just shit talk.
Destroyed my heart.
Destroy all humans.
All right, the next thing on my list, again, the start of my list is very broad, but I got 55 things on here. It's Pokemon. Pokemon's got dragons. None of them are characters. None of them talk.
All of them are weird. One's like a giant kite head. Oh, they're so fucking weird.
But, there's some dragons in there. They look cool. You can make an entire dragon team if you want. Fairies will destroy you, but I'm sure you can figure out a way to go around that. At one point, I played an entire team of dark creatures, dark Pokemon. The fighting trainers, holy shit, could not. Oh my god, that was a struggle.
I'm going to do a whole team of nothing but tongue-based Pokemon.
don't know if you could get away with that yet.
Yeah, 6 slicky tongues.
Oh. Okay.
I know. Loki would love you.
And Haunter. Because apparently he has a lick that paralyzes people.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, same with Gengar.
All right, 2 of each.
No double slap.
Oh, come on.
All right, Bantam.
So the
You're
last
muted?
one that I had,
Okay.
the last one I had, Ray. If Ray is going to be critiquing designs, he's gonna fucking hate these. So there was a PS1. It's still to this day one of my favorite JRPGs, Legend of Dragoon, and in Legend of Dragoon, the dragons. Basically, the main characters each get a dragon soul aspect, and it allows them to transform into dragoons, which were a ancient race of dragon warriors who protected the dragons and protected the world and blah, blah, blah. And they were at war with a race called the Winglies, which were essentially fairies. Think just humans, but with like dragonfly fairy wings. The dragons that the main characters...
What is that?
That is the Divine Soul Dragon. That's the most powerful one. This is the...
These are like the dragons from the freaking dragon airship anime we just watched.
The second one. The first one looks like a mutated, what's the fucking white dick monster in Monster Hunter that hangs in the ceiling?
Keizu?
Keizu. Yeah, it looks like a Keizu in the Fallout universe.
Yeah, the designs, the concept art for the designs were not good. And they looked even worse in game. But the cool thing is that once you unlock them and transform into them, your character gets really cool wings with like magic. Like the wings are entirely mechanical, but the I guess you would say the membranes of the wings are like fire or magic. Everything about the transformation sequences was fucking cool. I always let the transformation sequences play out. But yeah, the dragons themselves were the loosest definition of the word dragon. I think. I mean,
I would say the first 2 images count as dragons.
Yeah, the plant dragon or the green soul dragon was essentially a 6-legged or a praying mantis. The Divine Soul Dragon was that creepy first thing I posted, and then the blue one was the whale. The fire one kind of just looked like a...
Honestly, that whale looks like it could be an iteration of Bismarck from Final Fantasy.
The fire dragon basically was an airship. But yeah, there was a lot of lore, and... The thing is that as much as I think there'd be enough lore to do an episode on it, it would also involve everyone playing through essentially an old school JRPG, which takes forever.
80 hours of gameplay.
No, this was a multi-disc game, so
120 hours of gameplay.
It had 4 discs.
Try like 250. The game, it was one of those games where, are you having...
Was it called Legend of Dragoon?
It was one of those games where the game would be like, you're having trouble with this boss? Try grinding for the next 4 hours. And it was like, oh, okay. You're one of those games.
Focusing on only the main objectives, 49 hours.
I mean, okay.
Maybe you were just bad at the game.
Either that or no, because I know myself and I don't focus on the main objectives of the game. So, also... If you're a gamer that strives to see all the aspects of the game and you would like to spend 70 hours to get 100% completion. That's bullshit. That's complete bullshit.
This other website says between 40 and 100 hours. But whatever.
But yeah, so this is going to be an actual spoiler alert in case anybody decides they want to play.
Ray, play your music.
In case anyone wants to play. In case anyone wants to play Legend of Dragoon. It also did... one of the things that Ray knows about me is that I hate tropes. I can't stand it when, everything has to nail down the same stupid fucking tropes. And when a game subverts your expectations, I love that shit. Now, Final Fantasy VII did that with Aeris. Aeris dies. And she is removed from your party and you never get to play with her again. And that was like, whoa, they can do that? Like, you got to name Aeris or Aerith, whatever. And but they did the same thing in Legend of Dragoon. So in Legend of Dragoon, you have a character named I can't remember his name. Began with an L, but he was the Green Dragon Soul. He was actually the second character that you get in your party, and he basically was your super best friend bro. Like he was definitely the fist bump, let's get a beer kind of bro. And then in the second chapter of the game, he gets murdered. And his soul, or the dragon soul that chose him, leaves his body and ends up in the chest of the king. Basically, a character that you would think that is not like a main character of any kind. And then he decides, well, if the dragon soul chose me, then I should go with you. The king of an entire fucking empire goes, well, all right, I'm going to leave the throne in your charge. I'm going to go with this adventure and save the world. And so the entire time, you know, he's telling you stories about what a cool dude this other guy was. And it was just like, whoa, holy crap. And it also did the same thing where your main character has all these traumas with this person that attacked and killed your parents, and then you find out that that's another one of your party members the whole time. And just like, and yeah, so someone in our Patreon chat here is saying that tropes are good. I do not agree. I do not like tropes. I don't like the Chekhov's gun level of bullshit.
We'll have an argument one day about tropes, because I'm on comment side. Tropes have their purpose, but no time for that right now.
But yeah, Legend of Dragoon was I still think is way better than Final Fantasy, any Final Fantasy, and except 14, and as far as the story goes, and it makes me kind of bitter that Final Fantasy has still been going and Legend of Dragoon just disappeared forever. So
I guess I'll just say this really fast. The TLDR of Ray's argument for tropes is that tropes are good because they let your audience know what to expect, so they don't get blindsided later or betrayed or like tricked into reading or watching one thing when it was secretly another thing. The tropes kind of help prepare them for what's to come.
I guess that's different. Like, to me, because for me a trope would be like, you know, oh, this is the butch female character who hates you, the main character, but secretly likes you. I hate that shit. I hate where every single game has to have the perky, you know, like, oh my god, you guys, girl, and then the I don't really like you, but I do kind of girl. I don't like those types of tropes. I don't like...
Maybe stop playing hentai games.
No, that's not even... No, because like even Legend of Dragoon does it. There's Black Rose, who I don't like you, but I secretly do. And then there's this other girl who's like just super happy, bubbly, like, I want to go with you all over the place. And it's like, it's annoying. It's like, you can break the mold.
Yeah, character tropes, like Comrade calls them stock characters, those are bad. I was talking about story tropes.
And story tropes can also fuck off. I don't like them.
Right. Anyway, Dileton, your next list point?
This might go into a full episode, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. Good old Parthenex from Skyrim.
Yeah, I got Skyrim on here.
Yeah,
it was a question mark because I didn't know if we were going to actually do a Skyrim episode or not.
We could, if we dive like deep enough into the Elder Scrolls lore, we absolutely
The thing is, it would require all the Elder Scrolls lore, not just the Skyrim lore, and that's going to be a monster.
Well, we could do Skyrim for the experience, and then like tack on the Elder Scrolls Online lore, because that's like post Skyrim, and there's a whole dragons.
Time to do a Wikipedia dive.
Hell
all
yeah.
the lore. Mayhaps.
But yeah,
it could probably be fun.
Everybody should know who Parthenex is at this point. Like, yeah, the bestest mentor. And if you help the Blades kill him, you're an awful person. You should be allowed to have a computer. I said it. But interesting story tied to this. Several years ago, after like playing, or like when I played Skyrim for the first time, I don't know how long ago that was, but I had a dream where I had my own dragon mentor. It was a wyvern like Parthenex, but this big black one comes and kills him, but he's like completely content the entire time, and he's like, don't worry, you'll succeed, and he just gets like fucking off. And I woke up so goddamn emotional. Like, oh my god, he's dead! I was ruined for the whole day. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll go into Skyrim more later. It'll definitely be an episode, but it'll probably be pretty far down the line. But we'll see. Maybe we'll put it up for a vote at some point. So if you join the Discord, you can make it happen sooner.
Yeah, that's free.
The Discord is free.
The Discord is free.
All right. My next one, I think this is my last very major, big, broad thing. It's Digimon.
Of course.
Digimon, like Pokemon, has a bunch of dragon species characters. In the cartoon, they talk. In the video games, they kind of talk. It depends on the game. A lot of the big games, they have talking Digimon, but like the games that I played were like on the Game Boy, so they were handheld. And the idea was, it was like they were like Tamagotchis. You kind of raised them, you'd put them into little training rooms to get their stats up, and then you'd put them into tournaments, and that's all. That was the game. So they didn't talk in there because there was no story. It was just a little Tamagotchi battle pet raiser kind of thing. But I know if you play like an actual game, like a Cyber Sleuth or
Digimon World for the PS1.
That too, but also like, what's their version of Mystery Dungeon? I know that the two affixes were Dawn and Dusk, but I don't remember what the actual game was called.
Remind me what Mystery Dungeon was?
Mystery Dungeon is the Pokemon game where you play as the Pokemon and then you get a little party of Pokemon and you go into a dungeon. And it was a tile-based strategy
Didn't that
game.
also have that feature where you activate the 3DS's camera and focus on anything circular and it turns into a portal?
I don't know. Maybe one.
I think one of them did that because
I didn't play
people were
Dungeon.
coming into my store, and it was kind of like the Monster Rancher from way back in the day when you put a random disc in you.
Mm-hmm.
But people were coming into my GameStop when I used to be the manager there, and they were like, "Hey, can you hold up that game disc?" And I'd hold it up, and they'd hold their 3DS up to it and be like, "Whoa, this is a cool dungeon," and then leave. And I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. All right, Bantam, your next list point?
Blank.
Yay! All right, Diletan, you and me, let's go.
All right.
Time to I finally get to lock horns with you.
Shit. Well, that's bad. Because I'm also out.
You're also out?
Well, hold on. I got one last one, but this is more of a very broad stroke back into my childhood. Warcraft 3 custom maps. See, back in the day, when Warcraft wasn't reforged into the piece of shit that it is now, people would, from like all over the fucking globe, would use the very easy Warcraft 3 map editor to create some ridiculous bullshit to the point where you're like surviving in Jurassic Park or walking around in the future. Whatever you could think of, you could fucking do it in a Warcraft 3 map editor. And let me tell you, there were a shit ton of maps dealing with where you actually play as dragons. I downloaded an RPG where you hatch from an egg, you kill like squirrels and sheep to gain levels. That would have been fun to play. It was amazing. It was kind of grindy, but it was amazing.
I had many a LAN party with my three brothers and my dad playing Warcraft 3 custom maps, but they mostly focused around tower defenses and other like minigame based things like that. I remember doing the Jurassic World one, but I never got to play one where you actually played as the dragon, so that would have been fun.
It was a very deep. In lore. You started out, paragraphs was just assault your screen. You couldn't see anything till those went away. Then you just walk around. You start as an egg, you kill the animals, then you evolve, get higher up, and then you start dealing with the human nations and start deciding on who to help with them, and then doing something along the lines of trying to stop God. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I played it. There was also some where you like make your own hero, that you can pick a dragon. As you level up, you can choose like certain class abilities that make them out whoever you want to, and then assist your players like killing God.
My favorite custom map was actually Warcraft, a Warcraft 3 custom map that tried to be World of Warcraft in the sense you had your class and you leveled up and got abilities and whatever. But whatever.
You could actually, apparently the Warcraft 3 engine could handle WoW models. A lot of the older custom races were just imported dwarves and shit. Like straight out of WoW.
All right. No point for you, sorry.
What? Fuck you.
I played Warcraft 3 maps all the time.
But you didn't play the one you hatched. Come on, that would have been your dream.
It would have been my dream.
Damn straight.
I'll give you a point because you had the map and I didn't.
Yeah.
Also because I got like 45 more things to go through, so I'm going to have more points by the end of this.
No, we're going to be the ones giving them out, so it better be
Yeah.
good.
You guys let me know if you've heard of them or not, but we're going to try to go through this rapid fire, so it's not just another hour and a half of me talking about my list. So, really fast, all right?
All right.
Sleeping Beauty /
Of
Maleficent.
course.
Of course.
Yeah.
I would think
it's a dragon.
any dragon that's in any form of animated kids movie, like in the sense of like Disney DreamWorks, the no points because I've seen everything. And also Maleficent is stupid looking as a dragon, and the Great Beast from Princess and the Swan is so much better.
Yeah, but Great Beast is the great animal is not
know,
a dragon, so it did not make the list.
Sexier.
Maleficent, the cartoon Maleficent, looks good as a dragon. The Crow dragon they did in the remake, not so much. And okay, so next up, the Reluctant Dragon, which is another Disney cartoon, super old.
Never heard of it.
Bantam?
Which one?
The Reluctant Dragon.
Yes, I've heard of that one.
All right.
Oh, I got one. I got one. Figment from the Disney mascot that they just kind of swept under the rug and hasn't existed for like the last 10 years.
If it's just a mascot that people just came up with to be in something, it doesn't belong to a movie, book, TV show, cartoon, video game. I don't know if that counts for the list we're building.
It totally counts. Justice for Pepto-Bismol Dragon.
There was a
I know the Pepto-Bismol Dragon.
there was a mug that I saw that they sold at Disneyland many years ago, and it was literally Figment, but with like a hollow on the back on his back and the wings, and it was like a commemorative giant cup of Figment, and I was like, oh my god, that's amazing, I want it. And I looked it up, and it was not only sold like a billion years ago, but the only ones that you can get are on eBay for like thousands of dollars. So I was like, oh.
All right. The next one I have is Breath of Fire, the old Super Nintendo game. You play as a person that can turn into a dragon. I started playing the first game. You're actually human for like 80% of it. You don't unlock your dragon form until later, and then it's only in battle. So,
Wait, Breath of Fire?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of Breath of the Wild. I was like, oh, is that a Zelda game?
No, Breath of Fire.
But speaking of, I got one. Breath of the Wild. The Wind Walker. That's the one I'm thinking of.
The Dragon Boat?
The Dragon Boat.
Yeah. The King of Red Lions.
He is the best boy.
There are 3 dragons in Breath of the Wild, but they were part of DLC, and they kind of just fly around. You don't really do anything with them.
I have never played that Legend of Zelda game, but as much as it's going to make Ray roll his eyes and groan, the only thing I know about that boat and his canon voice to me forever is from the Starbomb song. It's like, I'm the King of Red Lions. Hey, I don't give a shit.
Yep. No one likes Starbomb.
I fucking love Starbomb.
If on the topic of Legend of Zelda, there's also a dragon boss in the Ocarina of Time, and I think most of the games have at least one dragon boss hiding somewhere. But yeah. Next on my list, I have Dragonlance, which was in the book series. This is probably like one of the only books I have on my list. And the thing is that the books followed human, elf, dwarf, halfling party members, but there were dragons in there because they were fighting against the evil people who would ride on dragons' backs and whatnot. Some of the dragons would talk, but most of them were just faceless villains because they're just the mounts, whatever. There was one in particular from the main saga named Sky, who was the mount / companion of, I don't remember her name, Katrina or something, which was the sister to one of the heroes. And so that dragon was slightly big, and he became really big in the Age of Souls, which was a series that came later on. But whatever. Point is, dragons exist. Dragonlance has also become a Dungeons and Dragons world, a campaign setting, and so kind of that just ties into Dungeons and Dragons as a whole. There are dragons, and they can be as big as you want them to be because it's a game that you make yourself.
Now, did Dragonlance start off as a D&D property, or did it get folded into it?
I don't know how.
Because I'm going to give you a full point because I never read any of them.
I think it started as a D&D property, like they may have like commissioned the author or something. because I remember from the beginning they would use like D&D spells, like
my first experience with novels in general were things like Dragonlance and all this other stuff. My uncle, who got me into D&D, had a disgustingly huge library of Dragonlance novels and just fantasy novels in general. He had like 40 Shadowrun books. And then he had like 150 fucking Dragonlance things, and I just remember how daunting it was because I was just getting into reading, and instead I focused on Basil Brookdale. So
there will be some Dragonlance books that I get you guys to read for the podcast because they hyperfixate on some dragon characters, but the main storyline, the main saga, the stuff that talks about the War of the Lance and then the War of Souls and all that, dragons are very minor, but they're there. Next, I have... Well, there's also the Dungeons & Dragons movie. the original movie, not the new one that's coming out.
Is that the one with the bald dude who had the little tentacles coming out of his ears? Yeah,
yes.
I remember watching that and going, what the fuck?
But yeah, the storyline of that involves the evil wizard wants to get a staff that lets him control dragons, but then it goes wrong and he gets eaten by a dragon at the very end. So,
yeah,
hooray.
I know that there's another D&D movie that's coming out soon. It got delayed.
Yep.
But it's like the thing that is kind of making me excited about this new D&D movie is the fact that it's going to be in theaters, because I don't think any of the other ones were.
No,
because they're all garbage. They're all garbage. But this one actually looks like they're putting some effort into it. But then the poster is so aggressively 90s that it's like
it's probably calling back the old stuff. That's why the poster looks like it's 90s.
Yeah. Because it just looks like a...
It'll be good, and I'm going to drag you to it.
Oh, no, I kind of want to see it. Honor Among Thieves. It got pushed to 2023, because I think it was supposed to come out this year. But, I mean, watching the little clip show, it looks amazing.
Yep, it's going to be great. Next, I have League of Legends / Dota 2.
Yeah, of course.
Because there are characters that are dragons you can play as. League of Legends has Aurelion Sol and Shyvana. Dota 2 has Winter Wyvern and Jakiro. And depending on your definition of dragon, Viper could also count. No, not Viper. Venom. No, it is Viper. Venom answers the other one. Viper could also count, and a couple others, whatever. I will get you guys to watch the Dota cartoon eventually. So look forward to that in the future. Next, I have Shadowrun. Similar to my complaint about some of the Magic the Gathering books, though, I don't know if any Shadowrun books focus completely on the dragons. If you know of any, listeners, please let me know. I just know that in the universe of Shadowrun, dragons are a big deal because they are the most powerful beings in existence. They tend to own all the companies, all the stocks, and all the whatever, and you don't fuck with them.
So, a quick cursory search. There is a Shadowrun book. It's volume 1 of the Secrets of Power series called Never Deal with a Dragon.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that involves a group of cyberpunk Shadowrunners, whatever the fuck you call them, that are going to be dealing with the dragon, like doing a job for him. I don't think the main character is going to be a dragon.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get a main character dragon out of any of these, unfortunately.
I don't think so, but maybe, fingers crossed, maybe it happens one day, and just let me know if it does. But currently, they would all be villains and background characters.
There's another one here called Beyond the Pale, Book 3 of the Dragonheart Saga for Shadowrun. And that one's got 2 dudes shooting guns at a silver dragon, so... Oh.
Next, I have Warhammer 40k. So Warhammer Fantasy has some dragon creatures that you can get in the video game. The new universe, Age of Sigmar. This I know very, very little about, but I think they're trying to add a new faction that has dragon leaders. So, I don't know. We'll see where that goes. But I specifically want to talk about the Grey Knight Omnibus, which is a book that I have read. It's a big chunky book. It's 3 books in one. That's what an omnibus is. There is a character who is a disciple of Khorne, the blood god, one of the chaos gods.
Blood for the blood god!
As reward for his service, was turned into a 15-foot tall black dragon person, so bipedal, And at one point, talking to one of his underlings, he does say that he enjoys to swallow people alive because he enjoys feeling them struggle and thrash inside him.
Nice.
And that is where I stopped reading that book because I knew exactly what was going to happen at the end because the Grey Knights have to win. And I'm like, nope, this is where I'm ending it. Thank you. But just there's a random villain character in the third book of that omnibus that is a dragon person. So there you go. Obscure dragons. Give me a point.
Yep. You get a point.
You already told me about him, so no point.
But if I told you about him, it counts.
No, you told me before the episode, so it does not count.
I give Ray a point. And seeing as it's the two of you competing, I'm the only one who can give out points right now.
All right, well, I'm going to bring one out from the field that both of you know about, but I'm going to do it anyway. An indie Steam game called Fight the Dragon.
We've all played that game.
What? Nobody else? Maybe our audience has it, huh?
Yeah,
huh?
But the points are between us, not us.
I'm still bringing it up for the audience.
Okay, for the audience, there is a very bad game called Fight the Dragon.
It's a very interesting game.
First of all, it is not a bad game. It was really fun.
It's just got repetitive very fast.
Well, it was fun. It was fun playing the game, and then the whole point. So it's a voxel-based, top-down Minecraft like RPG hack and slash, and the idea being is that you do runs until you feel powerful enough, and then you go fight the dragon. And when you go.
Yeah. It's a roguelite game where the end goal is fighting the dragon at the end.
No, because the dungeons you can run over and over and over and never fight the dragon. When you go back to your base, there is a portal to go fight the dragon. The whole point of fighting the dragon was to test how good your build was at the time. And so you would do damage to the dragon, and you had, I think it was 90 seconds, Zlatan, to fight the dragon?
I think it was for however long you could survive, because the dragon's got 10,000 health. He's ridiculously overpowered, and it's mostly just an endurance test.
You basically, it's expected of you that when you walk into the dragon's lair and start fighting it, you die within 10 seconds. The idea being is how much damage can you do to him? And his health remains every single time. So eventually you do kill the dragon, but then he's immediately replaced with another dragon with more health. And so you keep doing that until, I guess, you just get bored and stop doing
it. Yeah. But the selling point here is that all the dungeons you run are player made.
Oh yeah. That was.
Oh, I'm thinking of a different game. I remember playing that one with you guys, but I'm thinking of the other game where you're first person. The ceiling was very low and it was very bad.
No, this is third person where you play a whole bunch of user made dungeons, completing them get you all the loot you want.
I remember that game now. What's the one that I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fuck, it's a game that you two played, and then I joined.
Barony. There's no dragon.
Barony. That's the terrible game I'm thinking of.
I love that game.
That's the one that's terrible?
Dude, that game scared the shit out of me whenever the Minotaur would come out if you spent too long on a level, because he can plow through the walls, so there's no escape from him.
Yeah. This is Fight the Dragon and Barony, Mr. Bender.
Barony.
Yeah, Barony
I typed it so you could spell it.
Roguelike, where you can either be your solo or a party of 4, depending on you pick a class, you run through, you'll probably die in the first level multiple times. But
Barony was a lot less forgiving.
Alright, I'm going to try and pick up the pace of the rest of my list as we last 20 minutes. Let's go. Dragonflies was a really old cartoon in the 90s.
I remember that.
Yeah. It was people with armor that gave them dragon wings so they could fly on their own, but they also rode on dragons' backs, and the whole point was them trying to protect some dragon eggs from some evil wizard or something. I don't remember the story.
It was one of those biker mice from Mars, Street Sharks. It was let's combine a ragtag group of heroes with a random animal and have them fight bad guys.
It was completely a merchandise tie-in because it was to sell a toy, which was the boy version of the Barbie butterfly thing, where it's it was, imagine a Beyblade, but rather than going down and spinning like a top, it goes up into the air and it spins and flies and flutters downwards. It was the boy version
those
of
toys that you see videos on America's Funniest Videos where the parent activates it and it flies across the room and assaults their child.
Or into the fireplace or whatever, yeah.
That was one of the best ones because it was fluttering through the living room and the kid's yay, and then it goes right into the fire and the parent's no.
Yep. No point. Bantam knows where it is. Very sad. The Master Dragons board game, which is a board game that I have, and I've only got to play twice because I have too many board games. The idea is it is a world map that is made of tiles. You are a dragon. The goal is to fly across the world, gather treasure, and bring it back to your lair. And whoever has the biggest hoard at the end of the game wins. Dragons had flying speed and carry capacity, and if you carry too much, you move slower. There was another game on the computer that was very similar called Horde.
Oh, I have Horde. Never played it, though.
It's a good game, but the matchmaking kind of broke. You can't play it multiplayer anymore. Last time I checked.
Oh, that's bullshit.
It's very sad, yeah.
I'm sure there's a way to fix it.
Next thing on my list is Dragon's Dogma.
Yep, I played that one.
Yep.
You never got past the camp.
No, I legit didn't. I
couldn't because I would actually, being a melee person, would get hit by the Hydra, and the AI is so stupid it couldn't save me, so I actually could not get past the Hydra.
And so the funny thing is I never even got that far. I will admit that around the time that Dragon Dogma came out, I was very, very easily distracted and very easily frustrated. And when the game went through a 20-minute tutorial teaching you how to fucking equip the lantern on your belt, which was like 8 different menus that you had to go through to equip a lantern, and I was like, this is stupid. Like, I just want to kill shit. I don't want to fuck it. I remember it was like the process to equipping and unequipping your lantern was so goddamn convoluted that I was like, this game sucks. Mm-hmm. And I never...
A lot of the game is convoluted, especially the pawn system.
Oh, yeah, and then when the game taught me the pawn system, I think that was when I finally quit. I was like, nope, I'm not playing this.
But the dragon is the villain, so...
You eat your heart. You gotta go get it back.
You gotta kill the dragon. They either have or are making a cartoon for it, so maybe there'll be enough there for an episode.
Well, the anime is already out.
It's already out. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll see how much bigger the dragon plays in that. Maybe we'll do something with that eventually, but for right now, it is an honorable mention. Harry Potter is on my list. There are dragons in there. As small as the role as they play, the point is honorable mentions. So Harry Potter has dragons.
But they're fucking enslaved. They're kept in horrible zoo conditions. 0 out of 10. Boycott the Hogwarts.
It's
Free
like
the dragons.
we can be dragon activists.
Get DETA involved.
DETA.
Or PD. Whatever the acronym. It's People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. I'm trying to figure out how to put dragons in it.
It'd be petted then. People for the ethical treatment of dragons.
Get petted involved.
Game of Thrones is also on my list. There are technically dragons in there, and apparently there's a lot more in House of Dragons, but I haven't watched it yet.
Well, that's because they all die. It's prequel. They're supposed to die. So 0 out of 10.
Yeah. Next on my list is Legends, that old anime that I've never seen, but I have heard about it because I've seen that character everywhere.
Oh, yeah, my X-Base is OC on that.
Yeah. There are a lot of people who based OCs on that.
The fucking 6-winged weird shit.
I also put Shining with a question mark. I haven't played any of the Shining games, but I've seen screenshots of some of these characters. I don't know which games. There's like 10 Shining games. Like there's like Shining Force, Shining something else. There's a whole bunch. I don't know. But some of them have animalistic NPCs, like a wolf person and a turtle person, and one of them had a dragon person, but I don't know which game that was.
I will give you the point for that, because as much as I know of the game's existences, I never played any of them.
Same. I know they exist, but I haven't played them.
Yeah,
I need to know which one has the characters I care about, and then find that one. But so that's going to be an endeavor. Getting into some animes now. Reincarnated as a slime, you got Dragon Veldora, who shows up in the beginning and then disappears, but apparently shows up later on in the manga, so he'll come back. So I'm a Spider, so what? Main character gets reincarnated as a spider and has to fight some dragons, but the rest of her class also are reincarnated as humans and elves and whatnot, but one of the lucky students gets to be reincarnated as a dragon. So hooray, lucky them. And then there's another one which I don't remember what it's called. I did watch this though. I just remember the name Leodel, but I don't remember if it's the land of Leodel or the kingdom of Leodel or something. I can't remember. But there are some dragon creatures, and one of the sentient races, the sentient civilized races, are dragon people, bipedal dragons that wear armor, use swords, and all that. So that's a yay. Ancient Magus Bride also has some dragons at some point. They live in a sanctuary, and the main character goes to talk to them, and she gets a magic wand from one of them. Fairy Tale, one of the wizards is half dragon, ? He was raised by a dragon and has dragon magic. But I don't know. He has some dragon tendencies. Like, he can breathe fire and he grows fangs and whatnot. I haven't seen the later parts of the anime, so I don't know if he eventually gets a dragon form or something, but I know that his adopted father shows up in one of the arcs at some point. I don't know enough about it. Amagi Brilliant Park. It's an anime that I know the three of us watched together. There's that dragon living underneath the park.
I fucking loved him. Fuck, why didn't I think of that one? Amagi Brilliant Park. Who was the one who was like, we should watch this together?
I'm pretty sure that was me.
So Amagi...
I would have seen screenshots of the
I don't
dragon,
remember.
we should watch this.
I don't think I watched it with you guys.
No, it was with Tanith. So Amagi Brilliant Park is an anime that I think Dill10 would actually enjoy. And without spoiling anything, the concept is that it is a magical realm where magical creatures live, but it's disguised as a carnival, and the only way that these creatures can survive is off the joy and laughter of other people, and not in the insidious evil way. They literally just need people to come into the park and have a good time. And if they do, it essentially nourishes the magical creatures that live there. And people stopped coming. So they go and they get the main character for the anime to try to drum up business. He's like an accountant or something like that, and they need his help to make the park successful, because otherwise all these magical creatures are either going to die or they're going to have to go back to their desolate homeworlds or whatever.
I think they were going to get it.
Oh wait, no, the three of us did watch it. No, I remember.
Yeah, I don't think they feed off the joy. I think they have to make enough business to pay the rent. So they don't get
there was definitely a magical element to it, because when people first started coming in, and it was filling up a well. Like there was a wellspring of magic, and when people started coming in, the well was like flourishing.
Well, I guess it's time for a rewatch,
I have then. I have it saved to my hard drive, so it's one of my and that is a huge honor, because I don't do that unless I really like the anime and think I'm gonna watch it again sometime.
Minecraft technically has a dragon in it. Age of Wonders 2, it's an all-computer game that I told you two about recently. It is a turn-based strategy where you build up armies, you build up a city, and you go conquer, turn-based strategy. But one of the factions you could play as was a dragon faction. Endless Legend, similar. It's another computer game that is a turn-based strategy. This is a 4X, closer to like Civilization and the like. But again, one of the factions you can play as is a dragon faction.
Oh, Wyvern faction.
I mean,
yeah,
it counts.
Wyvern. Just real quick, I just want to. I just got an update on some dragon news. You can either just leave it where it is. So I think I mentioned it in one of the other episodes. Lego Ideas, which is the Lego offshoot where people can create their own entries, and if it gets enough votes, they'll look into getting the rights to produce it. It's where you've got like the Lego Friends, Lego Office, Lego Seinfeld. They recently just actually paired up with Wizards of the Coast to do Dungeons and Dragons Lego sets, and so they had a competition. And I posted these images in our Discord, but these 3 images are part of the finalists. So this is already approved by Wizards of the Coast. It's just, which one of these is going to be the winner. The only other one, there's 5, and 2 of them do not involve dragons. One of them is just a beholder with like a library and a desk, and the other one is a mimic chest. Yeah. But
it's the beholder Xanthar. You can tell.
But yeah, there's a Tiamat dice tower, so it is a functioning dice tower. There is Dragon's Keep Journey's End, which is the best one out of all of them. That's the one with the green dragon on it. And then the last one is called the Monster Manual, which just has chibi monsters popping out of a book. So yeah, I mean, there's 5 entries for people to vote on if you have a Lego Ideas account, which I do. But yeah, it's 3 out of the 5 entries are dragons, so that's good. Keep in mind, this is just a vote for the winner. It doesn't mean that the winner is going to be the only one produced. I think they're producing all of them. But yeah,
the winner gets the special ribbon
yeah,
that says winner.
But
it'll become twice as expensive just by being the winner. To try to finish off my list as fast as I can, we're approaching the 2-hour mark. Final Fantasy series has dragons in it, even if they're only summons. However, Final Fantasy XIV has a lot of dragon actual storyline and characters in it. It's an MMO, so we'll see how we want to tackle that eventually.
Yeah.
Delatan. Quest for Camelot's a cartoon that has a 2-headed dragon character in it. But he is a comedic relief character, so not a lot to go off with there. Narnia is a book series / TV show, movie now. One of the kids in like book 5 turns into a dragon via a cursed bracelet, but the dragon shenanigans are like less than 1% of the entire series runtime. So it's kind of just, hey, it's there, but it's not there for very long, all things considered. It's like 2 chapters out of 7 whole books, so The Never-Ending Story has Falkor. He's a dragon.
He's a dog worm.
He's a traditional like luck dragon. So that he is furred, but he is definitely a dragon.
I don't know the exact name. Shang-Chi, whatever. The Legend of the Ten Rings, the newest Marvel movie, has a dragon at the end.
Yeah.
Alice in Wonderland, the Tim Burton remake, has a dragon. They call it the Jabberwocky, but it's a dragon. Enchanted is a Disney movie. It has a dragon at the end. It's basically the same deal as Maleficent. It is a movie that makes fun of the fairy tale tropes. So the villain is a Maleficent stand-in, so she turns into a dragon at the end. The Dragon Ball series has dragons. It's got Shenron, of course, everyone knows, but then there's also a couple others that show up in like fighting tournaments from time to time.
And then
Can't remember their
GT,
names,
which
though.
we don't speak of, which has like the evil dark dragons.
Yeah.
One of those smoke a cigar.
Yeah, I've never seen GT, and I should just for that.
Don't watch GT. It's got baby.
Dragon with cigar. The newest movie, Luck, has a dragon named Babe in it.
God, yes. Oh, she is the best. I
Phantom
love
loves her.
her. Well, so she's a tar dragon.
She's basically a dragon tar. She's got 6 limbs total.
7, 8 technically, because she's got. Oh wait, no, she doesn't. Does she not have wings?
I don't remember. Point being, she's got 4 legs and 2 arms.
Okay, she does not. She does not have wings. But she is definitely a tar dragon, and I think that's why I like her so much. But the cool thing about her is that she can stand on her hind legs and therefore have 4 arms, or she can stand on her middle pair of arms are functionally either feet or hands.
Yeah, so she can walk on 2 and have 4 arms, or walk on 4, have 2 arms, or walk on all 6 even. It's pretty interesting. But I love her. She's great.
And her voice was like that. I have a type when it comes to female characters in media. I like the older, more raspy voiced, educated, whatever. And so she had that. She had a very.
She definitely she has a smoky voice.
Yeah, I like smoky voices.
Which, considering she breathes fire, it makes a lot of sense. I dig it.
I don't know.
What?
It's
How is
just
that
like,
slap?
she breathes fire. She's got a smoky voice. I don't know. It sounds like.
That's exactly why. That's the reason they did it.
I don't know.
That is
because
100%
like
fun.
that character from Arcane that I loved, the captain of the fucking guard. Like she sounded like she smoked 20 packs a day, and it's like I loved her voice, and then I professed my love for the character, and she died.
Yeah. This would be when I'm going to mention Wish.
We
Wish Dragon,
did an episode
just
on
because
that,
I know we did an episode on it. People are going to be like, well, why are you mentioning Luck but not Wish? It's like we did an episode on Wish, and Wish was a story that revolved around the dragon. In Luck, the dragon is just a character that's kind of just there in soft background for the last half of the movie. Like, she plays an important role towards the end, but she's not really there for a whole lot. Which is why she's an honorable mention rather than she's going to become an episode like The Wish Dragon was.
Yeah,
Sorry,
the weird thing about her was that she was kind of played off as like, oh, it's the secret villain. But no, she's just genuinely misunderstood and blinded by the need to do good in the sense where it's going to hurt things.
Yeah. When you go too far good,
I was
and you
when
come
we
back
watched
around. Alignment
when we
is a
watched
circle.
Luck, I was really, really worried and kind of upset that they were pushing toward the, oh no, she's secretly the bad guy. Oh, and it's like, no, because at the end they teach her like, hey, no, you've got it all wrong, and she's like, oh my god, you're right, and that's it.
And this is why I gave soft spoiler warnings at the
shit,
beginning.
Yeah.
Shrek has a dragon in it.
Donkey!
Mulan's got a dragon in it.
Mushu.
Yep. There's a really old cartoon from the 90s called Happily Ever After. It's the tale of Snow White after Happily Ever After.
Isn't there also a dragon in Enchanted? Does the bad guy turn into one?
Yeah, I said that already, yes. You must have been not listening at the time. But Happily Ever After is a really old cartoon that deals with 7 dwarves and the heroine. And the evil wizard turns into a dragon at the end. So there's that. My Little Pony has dragons all over it. Then you got American Dragon Jake Long, which may actually get an episode one day because he is the main character. So that's a question mark.
Oh, man. Now that's a blast from the past.
Oh, yeah, that is a blast. I love American Dragon Jake Long. And actually...
I never watched
so
Disney as a kid, and I'm kind of regretting it because mostly because of American Dragon.
The only full episode of Jake Long I ever saw was the episode where he was dealing with a Medusa-type character.
The first episode I watched involved dealing with a Griffin baby. And that's not because of why you think. That's literally what my cousin was watching at the time, okay?
But yeah, we'll probably do an episode on Jake Long at some point. But it's an honorable mention right now because I don't know when in our timetable we're going to get to that. But we'll see. Xiaolin Showdown had a dragon character. He was a sidekick and their mode of transportation, but he was there.
And comedic relief.
Yeah, that too. I love Xiaolin Showdown though. It was such a good show.
There's also...
but that might just be 90s.
There's also Lego
though.
Ninjago where they have...
That's on my list.
They have dragons, and we could do an episode on that, which would be a really convoluted way for me to get to see the Nagas again.
I don't think the dragons were in the same arc.
When I was
as the
making
Nagas.
my list a couple days ago, I included all the Nagas, and then I was going over the list right before recording, and I went, wait, these are snakes, not dragons. Why did I put them on there? And I was
buffoon.
so because I was looking up the dragons from Lego Ninjago, remembered that the snakes existed, and then just went down that rabbit hole.
Rick and Morty's got the episode of the Slut
Dragons.
Dragon's Lair, the old arcade game, had a dragon in it at the end. Blue Dragon was an RPG. I don't remember if it was PlayStation or Xbox, but they also made a cartoon for it, so there's that. It's a game that I wanted to play, and I don't know how to play it anymore because I missed my chance. I just never got it when I was a kid. So I'll figure out a way to play that game eventually. Then we have Future Card Buddy Fight.
Future Card Buddy Fight. Where this is
it's if you can look past the aggressive marketization, it is a really good cartoon.
So Ray and I watched like the
first
2.5 seasons together, and at the end, the thing is that whenever we watch anime, I have my own personal rule. The first episode, we watch the intro and the outro, but then you skip it from then on. But there was no real outro for it. Was a commercial, a straight up commercial. The character going, "Whoa, that was in."
Hey, you know this card? You know this monster you saw in today's episode? You could get it as a card if you buy this.
And then they would
pack.
show the main character fucking buying card packs and going, "I hope I get one." And then he'd like open it and be like, "Oh yeah, sweet, whatever." And it was like, holy shit.
Can you open a Buddy Rare card? You'll never know unless you try. It's like Jesus Christ. All right. The last thing on my list is actually Dragon Drive, which is also an anime with Chibisuke, a little white fuzzy dragon that I read the first few issues of the manga because I used to be subscribed to Shonen Jump when it first came out, but I've never actually seen the anime afterwards. So we will see. Like I'll have to like scout it out eventually. We'll see if it's worth doing episode on. But like for now, honorable mention.
Dragon Pilot.
Dragon Pilot, I don't think is an honorable mention because that is enough dragon to actually.
Oh yeah, no, that's going to be an episode.
Yay!
Yeah.
And
it'll be an episode, so it doesn't make it into the
gonna be an
honorable mention
episode
section.
And I'm mad I forgot about the fucking slut dragons. That was one thing I was going to bring up. Is like, get you guys. What was your first reaction when seeing that episode?
So my first reaction was, "Oh my god, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen," because it was like, because Rick and Morty has always had really cool creature designs, and then it's just like straight up dragons, and it was like, "Oh my god."
Mm. Yeah, I was like, oh, hell yeah. And then when we got to the actual convoluted storyline on Slutopia, or whatever the fucking planet was called, I was like, oh, okay. Of course Rick and Morty would ruin it.
Ruin
Right.
or enhance?
So Bartholomew himself was fine. Like, I enjoyed his aggressive sexuality at the end. I liked that.
How about
I
a
liked
quick
that in the
hand
dragon.
bond?
A quick hand bond. Well, it's like, I'm going to go take a shower. Well, if you just want something warm and wet, it's like, oh my God. I loved it. It was great. But just the whole convoluted storyline and just how slapstick the other Slut Dragon characters were, I didn't enjoy that. It was too over the top and too like, ugh. But whatever. Anyway, there we go. I sped run the last of my list to get it all done because we need to wrap this episode up now.
Because I got to go to work.
I know, we need to wrap this episode up. Thank you for joining us. Sorry it got kind of messy towards the end. It started out slow and then got really speedrunny. But yeah, that was just us, mostly me, listing off as many dragons that showed up in different things that were not big enough to warrant an actual episode on. Because faceless villain, 5% screen time, or just some combination of that.
Ray, how much will you be amazed, surprised, and scream if they announce that they're making an animated Rick and Morty movie and it's going to take place entirely in the Slut Dragon world?
I would be amazed because I think most people hated the Slut Dragon episode the most.
Yes, they actually did. The fans revolted against it because it wasn't like science; it was magic.
Well, yeah, but they had Rick literally like addressing that, like, this is bullshit. I can make better shit with technology, and then it's
I know.
like, yeah,
Neopets had dragons in it. All right, anyway, again, thank you for joining us. For this crazy episode, we hope you don't mind us taking
mental break.
Yeah, basically during this holiday season. I promise starting in January, I will have these two back on these two are going to be back on the grindstone with books and stuff, as much as Dilettant complains. But for now, we're just doing some really easy stuff. Next episode, do you guys want to do the Horde debate or the Ray just sits and reviews a whole ton of books?
I do want to do the Horde thing because I do find a lot when we're talking at work that I bring something up and you're like, oh my God, save it for the Horde debate.
Okay. All right, so next episode, we're going to try and do it debate style, like, public speaking class.
So then who's going to be the moderator?
The audience stand will be the moderator. I don't fucking know. We'll get
Come
to
be
moderate.
come be a moderator for $5 a month, or we'll probably hold a random lottery drawing for all of our audience members.
Wait, why are we lottery drawing them?
So one of them can be the moderator and reward points to the three of us as we give our points.
We'll see how wonky that is to schedule though, because we record at a very odd time.
If you depends on if you can show up. If you can't show up, then you're out of the drawing. So if you can show up and you want to be included in the drawing, we'll put you in. We'll figure it out.
We'll see. But basically, we're going to be talking about dragon hordes. Should they have them? Should they do anything besides just looking pretty? What should be included in a horde? Should it literally just be gold coins, or should it be other things? Bantam, really fast, where can they find us? If you have a very obscure dragon that would just be an honorable mention, not enough screen time or whatever, and you want to tell us about it, flex your knowledge on us, you can send us an email or join the Discord or something else.
Or something else. All right, so we have a Twitter. It is officially run by Dilettant because I've given up on maintaining 2 accounts. It is at official WADpod on Twitter, while Twitter is still on fire. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/World of Dragons podcast. And we have an email. If you'd like to email the show, it is wadpodcastmail@gmail.com. And we do have a Discord that will be linked in the show notes for you.
Mm-hmm. For those of you in the audience stand, we will be recording in 1 week, not in 2. We just delayed this recording because Dilettano was busy during the Thanksgiving week. So you two, you have 1 week to come up with your arguments for or against hordes.
I already got them. Listen, I was in a literal debate club in high school. Y'all are fucking doomed.
I never was. I was very shy growing up, so I didn't want to do any
Yeah, my aunt forced
speaking.
me into it.
Yeah, I wish I was forced into it. I feel like that would have helped with my development.
Now, listen,
But
you get forced into things, you hate them, i.e. reading. See, I was forced into reading. That's why I hate it.
Also, I do want to thank. We got 2 new patrons, in the past couple days. So
my shilling worked.
So welcome to the thing. Well, here's the thing. Neither one of them got pulled into the Discord. So I don't know if there was a delay, because I know we had 2 recent people that just joined, but the emails for the new patrons didn't come in until yesterday. So
okay, so you new patrons, if you're listening to this and you wanted to be pulled into Discord, let us know to see if there's an issue we need to fix. If it's just you don't have a Discord, then that'd be why it didn't work, and no problem then. It's just we're new at this whole thing, so we're trying to make sure we set it up correctly. But yeah, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time.
2.5 dragons out.